The world last saw Indiana Jones in 2008 as he ventured into the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now, we've got another outing from this famous blockbuster franchise that has every head in the movie world turning in anticipation. We've got a lot of information, so be ready to watch the video. This is everything we know about the new and confirmed Indiana Jones 5. First off, the title. We have the lock-in for the name of the latest outing of our favorite American archaeologist Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. This was revealed in the Comic-Con experience in Brazil. Now, after many years of long speculation about what the fifth title would entail, we know what it's going to be called. Now, everything begins to open up as we dial in on what our hero and his companions are destined for. The speculation begins in earnest as the fans latch on to every little detail, and we try to sort through the noise to find the true signal behind this script that is more than a decade in the making. There is a pretty immediate question overriding all others as we think about what could have been if Shia LaBeouf had dethroned Harrison Ford or other potential outcomes. With the film slated for release on June 30th, 2023, we've got this big question hanging over us all. What does the Dial of Destiny mean anyway? Crystal Skull kept their script and title well guarded until close to the release. A major triumphal return is sure to generate buzz, but if you don't want to let enough time pass for real doubt to set before you shoot your bottle rocket blockbuster, hopeful off riding the nostalgia waves that could turn to fumes as people pick apart publicly available info and weigh it against the golden standard of the nostalgia-tinted original. Hey, those films look awesome, but why do they all have this rose gold filter in my memory that goes away when I watch and see how it's aged? We're not sure what the title's Dial of Destiny is or what it does. The skull had telepathic powers, so we could be looking at yet more extremely supernatural objects, as the MacGuffins of indie films tend to be. After all, Nazi faces need to melt somehow. In fact, this will be the third pivotal object put right into the title alongside Raiders of the Lost Ark and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Auspicious company for good ill, eh? Well, the Dial makes a brief appearance in the trailer, but not with enough context for us to make too big of a stab at its function. The film is set in 1969 as the space race ages. Old Nazi foes of Indy have now been hired on by Nazi wave hello to Werner von Braun kids, and as we Operation Paperclip ourselves to our seats in theaters this coming June to find out the particulars, we can imagine that the fact that Harrison Ford is de-aged in this film might give us a clue. Indy 5 was always supposed to pass the torch. With Shia's Mutt character out, we've got a few other openings. Perhaps the Dial of Destiny resets fate and time, allowing for an alternate outcome to World War II that keeps the Nazis around as modern villains more plausibly. Alternatively, it might throw us to an all-new timeline where Indiana Jones lived and died an ordinary archaeologist while another character did his adventures. Whatever way they take it, we could see Indy battling for an object only to turn away from its great powers. Resisting temptation is a big part of our hero. It does belong in a museum after all. Next up, they're de-aging Harrison Ford. Well, we have seen a few controversial moves regarding face swapping and face manipulation. Sky Atlas face mapped its characters to have them re-emerge across generations, including overriding Korean characters who could have been recast like others to some controversy. Disney has begun to practice franchise necromancy, bringing back actors like Carrie Fisher from the dead. Hey, you sign with the House of Mouse, they've got your soul forever. I don't make the rules, their C-suite lawyers do. But the real question is this going to work? A bad CGI gimmick has ruined many a high-budget film. There's a significant risk here, and there's also a significant opportunity to return to the golden age and swap between young and old Harrison, so we can say farewell to his presence in the franchise. We've got scenes set in 1944 that have a de-aged Harrison, letting us get some OG action before we divert back to the space race plot. We're not sure how tightly these will be intertwined or if this was a temporary flashback, but word on the street is they'll be heavily featuring the de-aging for Harrison throughout the film. Possibly Dial-related? We'll see. Indiana Jones 5 could be a watershed moment for older actors. If the implementation is solid and the practice embraced, older actors will face an awkward choice: take roles deemed age-appropriate or accept people would rather see their face a few decades younger on their screens. Hollywood has grown comfortable with de-aging over the years, but rarely to such an extent or on such a scale. Many people are excited about young Indy. However, we feel about the broader questions of the tech, so we're thinking Indy 5 will be delivering what the fans want in a big way. Of course, there's a chance it will backfire. We need to match the quality of the original trilogy because unlike other de-aging scenarios, we have direct point comparisons of Harrison Ford acting in films as the exact same character in a similar setting and costuming. They keep him overly artificially shadowed in the parts of the trailer, and probably with good reason. I doubt they're fully confident about being ready for prime time. Remember that initial Sonic movie reaction? Yeah, the whole team got laid off after being forced to radically alter the character's design and ship the film. So get this, they have a new director. Steven Spielberg is taking the backseat. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas are out of their traditional indie roles of director and writer respectively, going instead to become executive producers. James Mangold has taken on the role of directing, and man does he have a heart of gold when it comes to emotional works. The Wolverine, Logan, and 3:10 to Yuma are just some examples of his hard-hitting yet tenderly felt directorial stylings. Indiana Jones is not known for making viewers cry. It's mass-market entertainment intended for everyone. The whole family can laugh and scream together through the first 4 films. However, Mangold's bringing his own special sauce to this production. Atop that, we could finally say goodbye to Harrison Ford's possibly most beloved character, Indiana Jones. Unlike Han Solo, who Ford hated playing and would not return to without a massive paycheck and promises to kill him off, Harrison has enjoyed his time as Indy and has been a key part of keeping the franchise coming back after decades of dormancy. We are looking at the epic plotline that matches the scope of earlier films, with death-defying stunts and world events altering course at the flick of a whip-wielding wrist. Mangold won his first Academy Award nomination with Logan, and he is definitely coming back with a vengeance in the hopes of cinching the award on this one. Based on everything Mangold has said and done in the past, we are confident an emotionally charged plot will be central to Indiana Jones 5. The last outing tried to focus on a frayed father-son relationship and rekindled romance, but that fell flat for most viewers as Shia LaBeouf failed to rekindle his Transformers magic touch for the film. He was evolving towards a more avant-garde actor who partook of grand sweeping statements and indie installations, and it shows as he grapples with playing a mass-market role. Lastly, what can we glean from the trailer? We start off with the narration of a traditional indie ally as 2 carts race across dusty desert city streets. Salah is supposed to be Egyptian, but in a fun little 80s twist, is actually depicted by a Welshman, John Rhys-Davies. They have managed to bring him back in a series of inconsistent side characters for 3 of the 4 past films, so it's only fitting the send-off includes him. Hopefully, we don't see more short rounds, though given his name and characterization probably would not fly with modern audiences. We see a black-clad motorcycle rider driving away as Indy daringly barrels between open motor rickshaws in the streets of what may be intended to be Cairo, but was certainly shot in Lucas' favorite Morocco. We cut to walking around the street in the 50s, underwater adventures, strange temples, exploding castles, running across the tops of train cars in the rain, and Salah recruiting an older Indy who says these days have come and gone, but Salah suggests that those days might be over or might not be. Is this a clue to the dial of destiny? Will it turn back the proverbial dial on our hero? Indy tells us he does not believe in magic, echoing Han's distrust and lack of belief in the Force. We have seen many supernatural elements in the past, so it's interesting to suggest he does not believe in magic. Perhaps he's distinguishing between arcane elementalism and divine acts of God, like what he witnessed in previous films? Well, if he finds a magic dial that works with that kind of mindset, he's in for a real surprise. Show us your love for independent music. Comment below with the best indie experience you've ever had. Then give our video a thumbs up to help boost in the algorithms, and subscribe to stay tuned because more awesome content is always on its way.